Today we're diving into a really incredible story from the ancient Avatamsaka Sutra. Now, this is a classic of Buddhist literature, and it tells a story about a search for wisdom that leads our hero to a place and a teacher that will just completely stretch the limits of your imagination. So, to really get into the spirit of this, let's start with a wild idea. Forget about dirt and sunlight and water for a second. Just imagine, what if a perfect paradise could be grown not from the earth, but from the sheer power of a completely enlightened mind? Try to hold on to that thought, because it's at the very heart of this story. You know, every great story needs a hero on some kind of epic journey, right? Well, this one is no different. We're about to follow a young pilgrim, Sudhana, on his deeply personal search for truth. Okay, so our guy, Sudhana, he's not after gold or glory. Nope. He has set his sights on the highest goal there is, enlightenment. And to find it, he's traveling all over the world, looking for teachers who can show him the real path of a bodhisattva. That's someone who's dedicated to becoming enlightened just so they can help everyone else. He's already visited dozens of masters, but his search leads him to someone very specific. He starts asking around, and all signs start pointing him in one direction, to a nun who lives in a place called the Sunlight Garden. So Sudhana finally gets there, but what he finds, it's not just some garden. It is a total sensory explosion, a paradise that seems to just break all the known laws of nature. The moment he steps inside, he's just hit by this wave of everything. The light, the colors, the sounds, it's all more pure and more perfect than anything you could possibly find in our ordinary world. He isn't just looking at a beautiful place, he's feeling it in his very bones. And the details here are just incredible. I mean, can you even picture it? Ponds that aren't lined with rocks, but with 7 different kinds of jewels. The ground under his feet isn't soil, it's pure golden sand. And the earth itself is so soft that with every single step he takes, it sinks down just a bit and then rises right back up to meet his foot. And the trees. Oh, the trees are on another level entirely. They're not just there for shade. You've got trees that literally rain down a constant, endless supply of flowers. Trees that produce music more beautiful than anything you've ever heard. Other trees are draped in these shimmering, heavenly fabrics. And there's even one whose fragrance is so powerful it can fill the entire world. This is not nature as we know it. It's pure magic. So the big question is, how is any of this possible? Well, the text tells us straight up, this garden isn't natural. It's a physical projection of its keeper's enlightened mind. It's built from her good deeds, her merit, and most importantly, from her deep, profound wisdom that everything we see and experience is, at its core, like a dream or an illusion. And who is this incredible keeper? Well, Sudhana finally sees her. The master of this garden, a nun by the name of Simha Vijambita. But here's the thing, he doesn't just see her in one spot. He looks around and she is sitting on a magnificent jeweled throne beneath every single tree in the garden, all at the exact same time. She's completely serene, totally calm, and somehow everywhere at once. And this is where you see her true power. Because at each of these thrones, she's teaching a completely different group. She's teaching the gods about liberation. To the dragon kings, she's explaining miracles. She's giving lessons on wisdom to demons and teaching practical steps to new bodhisattvas. Think about that. She is simultaneously giving a perfectly tailored lesson to countless different audiences. It's mind-boggling. Sudhana is just trying to wrap his head around what he's seeing. It's something beyond comprehension. So he approaches one of her forms to ask, how? What is the source of this incredible power? He bows to her, and he asks the one question that's driven his entire journey. He says, I have set my mind on enlightenment. How does someone like me learn and practice the way of a bodhisattva? And the nun tells him that she has achieved a very specific kind of liberation. It's called accomplishing all knowledge. And she describes it as a light of wisdom so intense, so powerful, that in a single flashing instant, it can see everything that's ever happened, everything that's happening right now, and everything that will ever happen, past, present, and future, all at once. So what can you do with that kind of power? Well, she breaks it down for him. She can create infinite copies of herself to serve enlightened beings all across the cosmos. She can see everything that happens in reality without getting attached to any of it because she knows it's all just like an illusion. And get this, she can reveal the entire history, the creation and the destruction of countless universes, all contained within a single tiny pore of her skin. Now, you'd think someone with that kind of cosmic universe in a pore of her skin power would be the final boss, the ultimate authority on everything. But what she says next, well, that's the real lesson here. And this is where we get to the beautiful paradox of the whole story. On the one hand, you have this unimaginable godlike power. But when Sudhana asks her for the final answer, she replies with just the most profound humility. She says, essentially, I only know about this one kind of liberation, but how could I possibly know or even speak about the practices of the truly great bodhisattvas? The more she knows, the more she understands just how vast the ocean of knowledge really is. And that realization is the greatest teaching she could ever give Sudhana. It's not a final answer. It's a new direction. You see, she doesn't pretend to be the last stop on his quest. Instead, she tells him that her knowledge is just one piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. And then she gives him directions to his next teacher, a woman named Vasumitra, and sends him on his way. The message is clear. The path to real wisdom never, ever ends. Which leaves us with a final question to chew on. You know, we often think of learning as trying to get to a finish line, trying to find that one final answer. But this ancient story is telling us something totally different. What if the greatest wisdom you can ever attain isn't having all the answers, but having the humility to realize there's always another teacher to find, another garden to explore, and that your own amazing journey of understanding has really only just begun?